Hey everyone, Garrett Goldsberry, North Jersey Mixed Martial Arts. I got my friend and training partner, Drew Ganthier. He's going to be helping us out today. And what we're going to start with is just basic framing and shrimping for all beginner levels. You can do this at beginner and advanced, but this is really, we just want the beginners to start feeling comfortable where if they're on the bottom in mount or side control, proper framing, elevating your hips, rotating on your shoulder to create space and what we call our shrimp. But we're gonna really just break this down for you today so you guys have a better understanding and it's something you can work to so you can have good framing principles on your way to blue belt, okay? Or if you're having trouble with framing, you can use this at any level, okay? So I'm gonna talk you through a couple solo drills and we're gonna use Drew as our uke, okay? So I'm gonna talk you through what the movements are and then I'm gonna actually do partner drill with it as well. So we're gonna start with the solo version of it and then we're gonna add the partner into it. So first thing we're gonna work on, Drew, just get on your back and create your frame, please. Okay, so we're gonna do this two ways. One way you can see him, he's got his knees, his frame, and his elbows in. And then if we spin Drew, you can see him a little bit better. So what we're going over is the frame, okay? Framing, this hand's here, elbows are in by his side. He's got good frame structure to be able to lift his hips and then be able to pivot over his shoulder. So the first thing we have to do is keep our frame in, elbows in by our sides, boom, okay? So this way, once we make contact, this hand's going across the belt line, this one's going on my shoulder, almost hooking onto my trap. So no gi, those are your handles. With the gi, you can put the thumb in the collar. There's a couple different variations, but we're just going with the basic shrimp. So once I place myself on top of Drew, see where this hand goes here, and this hand goes here. So he has the frame. The whole purpose of the frame is see how Drew's keeping distance in between my chest and his chest, is to keep that position where I can't get flat to him, okay? So, again, elbows are in, near side arm goes across the belt line, far side arm goes across the throat line, hooking on so Drew has shrimping capability, so he will be able to lift, okay? So that's step one. Step two is gonna be Drew elevating his hips, so getting his butt off the mat, go ahead Drew, and lifting high, okay? Go back down. So he's gonna lift his hips up and down. Okay, so step one, frame. Step two, hip elevation. Now the big thing and common mistake that we see, especially with beginners, is they do one flop, drop, and then try to turn. So we're gonna cover that in the next sequence, but we wanna just show you with a partner how you can do this drill just to get your reps. Enter into the frame. Drew raises the hips, back down. Hips, back down. Hips, back down. Now, one thing you might notice here is Drew is not benching me straight up. He's actually using his hips and his arms to direct me, go ahead, towards the head. Okay? So hips back up, boom, and he's pushing me away and over. Not straight up, where, go ahead, push straight up, Drew, where I can drop back down. Okay? So, step one, frame. Step two, hip elevation. Step three is going to be Drew getting that bridge high up onto the nearest shoulder, which is the arm that is across my belt, so he can create a pivot point over his shoulder. If he just tries to frame with both shoulders on the mat, he can't turn. So he has to come, hip frame, hips up, and he's going to pivot over that one shoulder. Good, and come back in. All right, so he has his frame, hips up, pivoting over the one shoulder, okay? That's gonna be his pivot point because the next step is us having to escape our hips. So this round, we're just gonna go with our partner. He's gonna frame, hip up, get onto his shoulder. Frame, hip up, get onto his shoulder. So from here, he frames, hips up, onto the shoulder. Okay, back down, let's just move a little bit this way, Drew. Thank you. Frame, hips, shoulder. Back down. Frame, hips, shoulder. All right? So, the next step is going to be escaping his hips, where if you guys have been training jiu-jitsu, you hear us call it shrimping, okay? So once Drew gets onto this pivot point of his shoulder, he's going to escape his hips away from me to create space to be able to get this near side leg in across my belt line and be able to put me back into full guard. Okay, so steps first, we're going to do it solo. So he has his frame. He hips up, he escapes, he comes back down. Okay? So he goes hips up, escape the hips, back down. Alright, let's just move it a little bit this way, Drew. Okay? So, frame, hips, shoulder, escape. He comes up, escapes the hips, follows through, he starts catching me, creates the angle, regards. Okay? So again, come here, buddy. There we go. So we're here, frame, hips, shoulder, knee to the elbow, regard. Me being a good partner, having good posture, keeping good frame where I'm not falling over like a limp noodle. I'm giving him something to push off of, okay? So another time. Frame, hips, shoulder, knees. Comes in, regains his guard, arms are in, good posture. All right? So, those are some of the simple techniques on just getting back to our framing position. All right? Hands, hips, shoulder, escape, knee enters. So, last thing we want to really cover is just this knee entry. How to put it in, how to, if your leg gets stuck, how to escape your leg, so on and so forth, okay? So, once we're here, just this way, buddy. Once we're here and we have the frame and Drew gets into position, go ahead and just stop at the knee, please. Boom. Okay, this knee, he brought the knee to the elbow. This shin's across my belt line to stop me from advancing position. And this gives him some time where he's still framing here. Now, if the guy's got heavy pressure, he would still have his hand here, and he has all this resistance to give him time to move. Now, he can use this base leg to keep turning his body. Now, what happens sometimes is you get stuck, the foot stuck in here. So all Drew's gonna do is switch to the other side, bring the other hip to the mat, and see how that leg pops out by bringing his heel to his butt. Now he cleared both his legs. He's in good position, whether we were fighting, he can block, or if he wants to go right into his sweep attacks. All right, so one more time, start from the top. He has his frame, he hips high, hips out, knee to the elbow, still creating his frame. Notice how Drew is not overextending. Overextending gets you shucked. So he still has some play with this. He's just giving himself enough room to get this knee to the elbow. Shin across, that gives him play. From here, he's still got his base leg to be able to move. So if he starts moving a little bit and he gets stuck, now he frames to the other side, hip comes to the mat, that foot pops right out. All right, cool. So, one last time, full speed. All right, guys, so, right here. That's our framing principles, regarding principles, broken down. So you guys that are having a little trouble with it, hopefully this helps you out. Thanks for joining us.